Hey everyone, welcome back. This is one of my favorite ones to teach. It's called The Essence of Self. Now, the reason why it's one of my favorite ones to teach is because it eliminates depression, anxiety, and low self esteem. Now, before we get into this, I just want everybody to know you can actually purchase this diagram with the additional information in the comment section right at my Etsy store there. It will be $1.99, and I greatly appreciate it. It helps support me making this kind of content and so forth. So, diving into this, there's two things you need to understand. One, we are tuned to think negatively. This is a primal instinct that keeps us safe. So it takes work to think positively and lead a positive life. Now, following suit onto that, the second thing you need to understand is that a lot of us focus on our self esteem and our self image. Now, by sitting there and focusing on those, you can't change those. The only way you can change those is by changing your self worth. Okay? Because if we sit there and we focus on our self esteem and our self image, we're just going to have lower self esteem and a lower self image. Because your self esteem and your self image are snapshots, are literally daily snapshots that will tell you how you feel and how you perceive yourself daily. Straightforward and simple. And it's a snapshot of your self worth, your self love, your self belief, and your self concept. Now, so some of the things that we can do to change our self worth is going to be self talk, changing the way we compare ourselves, so self comparison, right? We can alter our core values, our core beliefs, and our core identity to match who we are. We can look at what we subscribe to, right? What are the things that we subscribe to? Meaning not just what you watch, but what you read, what you listen to, the people you hang out with, where you work. These subscriptions will influence your life, and they will influence your life in a positive or negative manner. And you can make the choice to either have a positive life or a negative life, and what you subscribe to will definitely produce that. And worldviews, right? Worldviews is a big one. Worldviews is how we view the world. If we view the world in a negative light, we're going to have a negative aspect of going out into that world. So we need to change that up and really see the world for what it is, right? And there's always going to be negative stuff in the world. And if we focus on the negative, we're going to see more of it. If we focus on the positive, we're going to see more of the positive, right? So those are just some of the things that we can do to change our self-worth. Once we start changing our self-worth, we can go, okay, now I value myself more. I can, you have a positive line of thought, right? But then we start getting into thought process, right? How we think. Now I'm going to do a whole nother video on thought process with a whole nother diagram, and we can take that one from there. But let's jump back over to self-worth. Once we have altered our self-worth and we have a higher value of self, that's going to start affecting how we love ourselves, what our self-beliefs are, and what our self-concept is. So I did a video on self-love not too long ago, and it was a little bit ambiguous, but c'est la vie. This one is going to lay it out a little bit more. Now, self-love consists of three things. One, what you enjoy and what you discover, right? You have to, in order to love yourself, you have to do things that you enjoy and you have to discover new things. Pretty straightforward on that one. Two is going to be self-care, right? Taking care of yourself, doing things that relax you and bring peace and peace of mind to you. And three, building a legacy. Now, you hear me talk about this a lot because it is important. Building a legacy will help you to build everything else throughout these three things here, throughout self-belief, self-concept, and self-love. So by building a legacy, how do you want to be remembered when you pass away? What do you want to leave behind for other people to remember you by? Right? Start working towards building that, and that right there will encompass your self-love. Now, self-belief, belief within oneself, is going to again be comprised of three things. And when we start talking self-belief, we're going to start talking, goal setting, completing goals, right? Which will be the last one, but it is important. One that gets a lot of people is belief in a higher power. I don't care what that higher power is. You can call it God, you can call it Allah, you can call it Yasaba, whatever. Now, belief in a higher power will always yield bigger belief within yourself. And one statement that rings true for all is God loves us all, regardless. That is the one truth, is that God loves all. Because if God didn't love us, he would have obliterated us already. Right? So God loves all. Okay? Second is your relationship with failure. Again, this is something I talk a lot about but your relationship with failure is going to be a huge one, because you have to be able to take criticism, you have to learn from your mistakes, and you have to try again. That is a good relationship with failure. And then goal setting. Setting and completing goals will build a higher self-belief within yourself. And then self-concept. This is another big one, because this is how you see yourself in the future. Not just by what you have, but by who you are. How do you perceive yourself on how you're going to act and interact with others? What kind of stuff are you going to have in the future? What does that future look like? Right? Those are really the most two important ones. And then again, building that legacy. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind for other people to remember you by? That's part of your self-concept as well. So you can kind of see how that stretches across the board. And those are going to feed your self-esteem and your self-image. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you guys would like, go to my Etsy site, purchase the diagram. Would love the support. And yeah, remember, you are limitless. I love you guys. Cheers.